as you can see, this whole thing started with the people involved in the raid, Baloyo, not following the rules. And what are rules for if they're going to be broken? There's such a thing as ethics among policemen.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
In fairness to General Albayalde, may we hear from him?
Of course.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I was going to you,
Yes, sir.
in fairness.
Yes, sir.
I don't have to be reminded of it.
Thank you, sir. Let me start from the very beginning, Mr. Chairman. From the start that these people were dismissed in 2014 until 2016, I hope the Directorate for Personnel here would, I don't know if he will agree with me, but so I was never assigned with the DP, and I really am not aware of the rules and procedures. But you, as the former chief, Your Honor, and of course this good Senator Bato here, I can only surmise that way back in 2014, after the decision of then General Petrasanta to dismiss these people, it was passed to then General Purisima, who is the chief PNP, because on several times, basically the policies changes. It depends on the instructions of the chief PNP. I can only surmise, Mr. Chairman, that probably during his time, all the dismissed personnel, especially so with officers, would pass through him, because there were instances that we dismissed personnel, and when their criminal case were dismissed, the court would ask us to reinstate those people with full back pay. But if you remember also, during the time of General Purisima, there was a problem in the PNP also. There were controversies. So I can only surmise that there was confusion then. That's why these people were not actually implemented. It was not implemented their dismissal. However, I'm also wondering why during that time also, I think Mayor Magalong then was the DIDM. He has all the authority, the power, and all the connections to probably follow up their dismissal also. But I really do not know, Mr. Chairman. I'm only telling the facts. Now, on March 2, as I'm hearing now, these people were given the order of dismissal. Due process will tell us that we'll have 10 days for MR. So they filed within the reglementary period, and I suppose that it was considered partially until it came to General Aaron Aquino. Yes, I asked for the status, only the status. I could not possibly influence an RD or an upper class, Mr. Chairman. I'm just the RD and OIC, acting RD of NCRPO then. So, of course, I would ask them, because people, their relatives, would also be asking me the fate of their father, the fate of these policemen. It's because I was a former acting provincial director of, it's but normal that families will go to their former boss who would ask for the status of these people, but never in one time that I asked for any favor. I was asking for the status. That is the very reason why General Aaron here ordered for the review of the case, which is, I think, normal in the presence of the Philippine National Police, Your Honor. And again, I don't know what happened after that. General Corpus made his decision October 2017. I'm still the RD of NCRPO then, Your Honor. I became the chief on April 19, 2018 only. So I could not have influenced any of the decision of these people. Now, let me go to what we're doing, please, Your Honor.
Did you call General Aquino?
At one time, I'm sure, yes, sir. Yes,
on
sir.
the matter of your men?
Yes, the status.
On the matter of the pending
status,
decision that is on his desk?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Status, yes, sir.
Now, are you classmates with the General Corpus?
Yes, sir.
So it belonged to the same class.
Yes, sir.
And it is just surprising to us here why General Corpus on his own would suddenly demote and amend the dismissal order of a high-ranking general before him.
Well, Your Honor, that will be, General Corpus was also assigned in Region 3. He was also assigned in Region
Got nothing to do with it.
4. He would probably know these people also, because he was also assigned in Region 3. May I just continue on, Mr. Chairman?
No, let me just correct. Let me just, you know, I'm trying to lean over backwards because I don't want you guys to get hurt. But I don't want the people to get more hurt by allowing people to be selling drugs that have been confiscated. Matagal lang pinag-uusapan yan.
Yes.
So, ang sinasabi ko lang, bakit bigla na lang madi-demote? Ang sinasabi mo, kilala niya itong mga tao ito. That is not a ground for demotion. The only ground for demotion is if there is justification for it. And yet, the courts say, how siya itong ginawa ito? They're trying to cover up. Yung inyong police, sila General Pero, who investigates it, pinagtatakpan nila itong mga kaso rito. And then, these guys keep saying, wala si Johnson D. Colonel, Major, I ask you again, kaninong bahay yung ni-read nyo doon sa pinagkunan nyo ng drugs? Kanino?
Please use the microphone and speak closer to the microphone.
Sir, considering that our criminal cases are under review by...
No.
May I invoke my right to remain silent?
You may not because you've been answering questions here kanina pa. You may not. Whose house did you raid?
Kay Dingwencon po.
I just called up that house. Johnson D. has been staying there since 2018, up to 2018. In other words, when you conducted the raid, that house belonged to Johnson D.
But what we arrested, sir, is Dingwencon.
No.
During our operation. He was
That
the
is what
one-
you're saying. Hindi ko tinatanong yan. Dingwan, whoever that guy is, was a patsy. We all know that. I'm not trying to conclude, but let me just tell you, meron bang kotse doon na Black Fortuner?
Sir, wala po.
Wala. Akin na yung record ng Black Fortuner.
May I just manifest, Mr. Chairman, between the period November 14, 2014 and March 2, 2016, hindi po ito yung appropriate time to review. The appropriate time to review was after March 2 of 2016 when the summary or when the dismissal order was served and received. Anong re-reviewin nyo during your time when the dismissal order was not yet served?
In other
was
words,
not-
it took 16 months, Mr. Lim.
Yes, that was not the
16
appropriate
months.
time to review. Ano po yung re-reviewin ninyo? Eh wala pa yung MR.
General Aquino, there's a
I'm asking
question.
General Aquino.
There is a question. What were you trying to review at the time that you were there? When in fact, as Senator Ping is saying, there was no MR yet because it took you 16 months, a year and 4 months, from the time the dismissal order was issued to the time it was served. And therefore, your previous statement that you were reviewing the case appears to have no basis according to Senator Lacson. Indeed, because there was no MR filed yet. But it took 16 months to serve an order of dismissal duly signed by your predecessor.
Sir, with all honesty, I thought the case folder that was presented to me will be signed by me. Kala ko, sir, ako yung magde-decide ng kaso. Na hindi ko alam, sir, it was already a signed decision by General Petrasanta. Kasi that is the first time I saw that folder. I don't have a time to review everything on that folder, sir. Dahil ang kapal-kapal siya ng folder niya. So yun, sir, ang akala ko, nagkamali ako dun, sir. I thought really that the case folder that was given to me by my legal officer, yun ang decision na sa signan ko, sir. And that's the reason why I asked them for the review, sir.
But when you reviewed the folder, you saw an order dismissing Maluyot ba? Yes. Et al. Hindi ba? I hope that the lady, who is that lady? Kayo ho ba ay abogado o ano hong binubulong nyo dyan? All right. So anyway, again, the question: when you reviewed the folder, Director General Aquino at the time, didn't you see a dismissal order already signed? Because the fact is, from the time the dismissal order was signed to the time it was served, 16 months lapsed. And you could not say that you were reviewing because the MR could not have been filed without the dismissal order being served.
Sir, to be honest nga, yung sinabi ko kanina na I thought that the case that was presented to me was the one that I will sign the decision. That's the reason why I have it reviewed. It was
When you saw it, it was already signed.
Yes,
The
sir,
order was
pero
already
hindi ko
signed.
nakita yun, sir. To be honest, sir. Kasi nung binigay sa akin yung court case folder na yan, sir, wala pa akong time, sir, i-review yung the whole case folder. Because during the time, nakita ko lang yung folder na yan when General Albayalde called me.
Yes, General Albayalde.
Sir, may I just continue? May I be allowed
Go ahead.
your honor?
I'll go back to
On how-
Colonel, to
on
Major
how we
Peter.
monitor these people. May I answer the probably refresh.
Can you speak to the
General Aquino.
microphone closer,
May
please?
refresh General Aquino that during his time, the MR was pending. It was during, no, they filed MR March 14, 2016. I think that was cleared yesterday, this morning,
During
sir.
his time?
Yes, sir. It was during his time. They filed the MR March 14, 2016. And General Aquino was the RD, I don't know, I really don't know, sir, but probably June 2016. So it was, the MR was standing during his time. When he inherited the motion for reconsideration of these people. So it is just proper, if you are an RD, that you would also ask your legal officer to review the case because there
At
is
the
a pending
time he
MR.
assumed, General Albayalde, at the time General Aquino assumed, there was no MR yet. What
There is, sir, I think it's March 14.
No. If the MR was filed only in 2016. March 4, 2016. General Aquino was
14.
there before that.
No.
When?
June.
June 2016, sir, ako na-assign sa...
June 26.
Yes, sir.
Before you, who was there?
It's Sir Lakadin, sir. General Lakadin.
Okay, so there was another general before you?
Teka.
That's right, sir. General Lakadin served before me, sir. So
All right.
it's during his time, sir, not mine.
So is he around what? Okay. Okay, so we will address those questions to him. Why did it take him so long to implement?
Sir, may I just continue on, sir? Now, with regards to these people, sir, and all the policemen that are allegedly involved in illegal drugs, especially those who were assigned in Mindanao, just like these people who were assigned by no less than the RD then, who were assigned in Mindanao. Probably many of them were assigned. And after validation from our Directorate for Investigation, we started
Excuse me,
spreading them
forgive
out,
me
sir.
for interrupting. Mindanao is a dirty word to me.
Yes, sir. That's
Because every time a policeman pulls around, the system is unfair to Mindanao.
Yes.
Tinatapon nyo sa Mindanao yung mga
Yes, sir.
pulis.
yes, sir.
Bakit hindi nyo hulihin?
Yes, sir. Let me.
Hindi nyo tanggalin?
Yes, sir. Let me finish, sir. Yes, sir. So it was only after a request coming from a court requesting these people that they be assigned back to PRO 3. I was the chief PNP then. On August, I received a letter from the court requesting them invoking Section 29 of RA 9165. But still, I did not accede fully to the request of the court for these people to be back in PRO3. What we did, Mr. Chairman, is we distributed them in the different regions and they were put under strict monitoring. Records will show that they are being monitored on a weekly basis. All the people, I just don't know if more than 800 of them are all being monitored wherever. Those, yes, Your Honor.
Can you
And also
imagine
those,
the weight that is on your shoulder as PNP?
that is the very reason.
When you can clean up the police force, you have to monitor these people.
That is the very reason, Your
You
Honor.
have enough problems as it is.
That is the very reason, Your Honor, we created in February 22, this year, February 2019, during my term, that we dissolved the Counterintelligence Task Force and we created the Integrity Monitoring Enforcement Group. We created it as a national support unit to monitor all these people, to monitor all the, what we call, scalawags in uniform that are involved not only in illegal drugs, but also in kotong and all in all illegal activities, Your Honor. The IMEG now is a national support unit headed by Colonel Karamat.
No. My point here, you can tell me all the nice things that you did, but I say it's a dirty word, yung Mindanao, because ginagamit yung Mindanao na basurahan ng mga tao na dapat tanggalin.
Yes, sir.
Mindanao is a very good place. It's a promised land. It can have all the necessary peace and order that you need. And yet, because you throw them there, kailangan pang i-monitor nyo yung activities ng mga yan.
Yes,
which
sir.
is a waste of time.
Yes, sir.
You have 800 million pesos for intelligence fund, and you have to use that against insurgency, you have to use that against drugs, and I suppose you're going to use that against your own people.
Yes, sir. That is why, with regards to the complaint of those people in Mindanao, in fairness to them, we started, again, after more than 2 years of their stay in Mindanao, we started distributing them in the different regions where we feel that we can use these people. But still, under strict monitoring, Mr. Chairman, through our IMEG. Our IMEG have so much accomplishments already against our own men. We have 124 arrests already. We have 9 people, also uniformed personnel, who died in the implementation of our internal cleansing, Your Honor. So, what I'm trying to say here, Your Honor, even if these people were transferred in different places, they are still under strict monitoring. So, that's the very reason why we are continuously validating this list. We have the watch list, our own watch list. We have the government's watch list, or what they always commonly call the PRRD watch list. So that if and when we see our people that they are actually doing nothing wrong anymore, we can transfer them to places where we need them.
All right, you're giving me tons and tons of words, but I have General Magalong here, who comes out of the woodwork, Mayor of Baguio, comes out and says, these things happen and they're very serious. And I have investigations made by your own units headed by Colonel Ferro on this matter. I have a court decision that says this was a cover-up. And yet, all you're telling me is, ito nangyari, mga tao ko yan, kailangan i-monitor ko pa yan. Why are we allowing ourselves to be punished by these people? They are the ones that should be punished. For an example, nagsisinungaling ito si Baloyo. Meron akong report na nakita siya doon. Ginamit pa nila yung Fortuner ni Johnson. Hindi niya masagot. Kalahin mo, tinanong ko siya. Sabi niya, I now want my rights against self-incrimination. My God, that's a clear sign you're lying. You are supposed to know who that house belonged to. That house belonged to Johnson Lee. Now you don't know Johnson Lee? You got his car. And by the way, the statement of Purisima was investigating niya because nagkakotse lahat yung mga tao niyo. And I'll tell you, here is the LTO. Hindi ba yung pinaka-check ko sa inyo yung Fortuner? Oh, ba't ako hindi magdududa? Nasaan yung record? Di ba yung Fortuner na yan? Ilang beses pinagbibili within the last 2 years? Pare-pareho. Sa isang araw, 3 beses pinagbili. That means talagang binubura yung paper trail. You think you can get away with this? There's a paper trail for everything. You have no paper trail insofar as your report on the drug investigation. When you raided, wala ka niya anong pinakitang litrato doon sa raid. Gumagawa kayo post facto. You know, I don't want to do this. But, because there are so many people being killed on the ground, can you imagine yung sinabi niyong drug queen? Nasyak ako. The other day, I read in the paper, one of the barangay tunnels of that drug queen was killed by 6 people riding in motorcycles. I'm still shocked. I don't know if the chief PNP is still shocked about that. Ayan o, Johnson Lee. Ayan o, physical. Ayan, ang kotseng na kinuha nyo doon sa bahay na ni-raid nyo, Fortuner. Ayan, nakalagay o. Johnson Lee. O, saan yung kwan? Ilang beses mo na? On December 26, the vehicle sales invoice is under Johnson Lee. On March 18, deed of sale. March 18, nag-raid kayo, November 29. Johnson Lee to Efren Cura. Who is Efren Cura? He's a member of the Anti-Smuggling Task Force. On March 18, 2014, Efren Cura turns around, has a deed of sale, and sells it to Ted Ko. Secretary of Justice, please take a look at this. And then, on December 3, 2015, deed of sale executed by Ted Ko for the same vehicle to Virgilio David. That's December 3. On the same day, December 3, Virgilio David sells it to Ami Gopez. So on the same day, from Ted Ko to Virgilio David to Ami Gopez, isang kotse, pasa-pasa ang transfer. Itong kotse na nakuha doon sa bahay nitong si Johnson Lee. Kasi sabihin mo sa akin, hindi. You know who got me the address? The highest officials of Clark got me the address of Johnson Lee. Naandun yun. And you're telling me you don't know you're gonna raid, hindi mo alam? How do you expect me to believe you? I'm trying to help you. At I cannot believe you because everything that you're telling us from the time you raided was out of whack. Yung money, hindi naman marks yun eh. May procedure, hindi nyo sinusunod. Wala kayong report. I don't even want to go to General Albayalde because may report ka na sinasabi mo, ito nangyari. I'm not even going to go there right now. But I'm just focusing on your people. So, meron pa ibang kotse yan. Then you went to, ano ba nga? Dingwing? Matandaan pa na yan. Dingwing, Wingon, di ba? You went to his house in Clark. Pinadapa niyo siya doon. Pagka hinarap siya, hindi niya alam kung bakit. Meron siyang affidavit. May mga affidavit sa mga tao doon. Kumuha kayo ng interpreter. Ang sinasabi, pinakuha niyo yung passport, sabi ng interpreter, iniimbestiga ka, kinuha yung passport, di nyo na binalik. I'm just cutting to the chase. Do you have anything to say? Nandiyan po kayo? Baka ano? Baka? Baloyo. Kasi doon sa jail, sa Muntinlupa, Bukayo naman. Ito lang, Balayo.
Sir, kaya lang naman kami naimbestigahan dahil dun sa kaso nung isang major raidado.
Oh, Raydado, good.
Tauhan ni General Magalong.